With the 2020 car launches less than a month away now, I thought I'd make some predictions on how the teammate battles will go this year. I'll start at Mercedes, Hamilton versus Bottas. Well, it's 3-0 to Hamilton in the 3 years together as teammates, and I can't really see much changing between them this year. While Bottas did improve last year and had some good wins, overall he still is a level below Hamilton, and races like Spain in 2019 show how far he still has to go to become world champion. You would expect Mercedes to have the fastest car again this year, but you would expect Hamilton to comfortably win out this head-to-head as well again. It's up to Bottas to prove us all wrong. He will need a 3.0 version of himself to shock Hamilton and us fans around the world if he's going to become world champion and beat Hamilton in a straight fight. On to Ferrari, and I think the battle between Leclerc and Vettel is really going to be fascinating again this year. It's probably the intra-team battle I'm most looking forward to watching in 2020, because while Vettel made a lot of mistakes in 2019, his pace at times was still very, very good and quicker than Leclerc, especially over a race distance. Ferrari penning a long deal with the Monegasque driver shows their faith in him, and it's really up to Vettel this year to come out of the traps quickly and prove that he still has the talent and the speed that made him a 4-time world champion. Okay, yes, he had the best car for most of that period, but he's shown enough over the previous decade that he can still be that he is a quality driver. As for Leclerc, obviously this will be his 3rd season in Formula 1, and he should continue to improve, and you'd have to give the benefit of the doubt to Leclerc in this inter-team battle, but I think it will be very close. I think Vettel will raise his game this year. I hope he raises his game, because a strong Vettel is only good for the sport. We need as many strong drivers as we can at the front, and Vettel is one of them at his best. So I'm going to give the nod to Leclerc simply because he's got more room to improve, as it's only his 3rd year in Formula 1 this time around. But it will be a fascinating rivalry, and it could boil over potentially, but we'll see what happens. But at the moment, I would just give it to Leclerc. On to Red Bull, and well, Verstappen versus Albon. While Albon did get closer to Verstappen in terms of points and performance compared to Gasly, Verstappen still had a big edge. Yes, he made mistakes at Mexico, Spa and Monza, which flattered Albon in terms of the points gap. So in reality, Max should comprehensively beat Albon this year, going by 2019 form. Verstappen right now is right up there with Hamilton, probably is the best driver in the sport at the moment. If he cuts out the mistakes completely, then he could really, really destroy Albon. I like Albon. Seems a really nice guy, and he is a quick driver, but I just cannot see how he's going to get near Max. And to be fair, not many drivers on the grid at the moment would be able to get near Max in the same car. So yeah, I expect a comfortable victory for Verstappen in this head-to-head. The real question is for me, can Verstappen challenge for the championship? That's all up to Red Bull and Honda, and we'll find out in a few months' time. 2020 will see Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris go up against each other for the 2nd successive year. The rookie had good moments in 2019, especially in qualifying, and obviously he became quite the online sensation with his memes, but in terms of performance on the track, he did struggle in race trim versus Sainz. Sainz tended to have better first laps, make places up, and if he's behind Norris on the grid, he would usually be ahead at the end of the opening tour. So for Norris, the big improvement has to come in races. His qualifying performances were pretty good overall to match Sainz in the qualifying head-to-head battle. Some would say 11-10, but Sainz didn't get to do a lap in qualifying in Brazil. So yeah, the big key for Norris Sundays. As for Sainz, 2019 was probably his strongest season. Although, of course, he did lose out to Verstappen at Toro Rosso. He did lose out to Hulkenberg at Renault. So it does give me doubts about how good his season was. He did, to be fair, where credit's due, he capitalised on chances to score great points and, of course, his podium in Brazil. So if Norris improves on a Sunday this year, I think it could be another extremely close fight between teammates. But on the basis of 2019 and how good Sainz was in the race versus Norris, I'd probably go with the Spaniard at the moment. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if Norris improves. And he has to, frankly, because out of the rookies from 2019, George Russell for sure impresses me the most at the moment. Lastly, in part one of this video, it's one of the two new driver lineups for 2020. Esteban Ocon joins Daniel Ricciardo at Renault, and this again has the potential for fireworks in my opinion. Ocon has a controversial history from his time at Racing Point with Sergio Perez, and then obviously the massively controversial incident with Verstappen at Interlagos in 2018 as well. So he does have a history of annoying drivers, to put it mildly. Ricciardo had a very solid first season at Renault, but obviously he was limited by car pace, but he did show that he was quicker than Hulkenberg after a slowish start, especially in Australia and Bahrain. Honestly, I think Ricciardo will come out on top of this one. He is... Personally, I think I underrated him for too long. He pushed Verstappen hard at Red Bull, and last year he had a solid advantage over Hulkenberg. His pace is probably underappreciated by some people, including myself, for quite some time. So yeah, I think overall Ricciardo is stronger than Ocon, and I think especially on a Sunday, Ocon's race pace against Perez wasn't fantastic. While he had some great qualifying performances, Spa in 2018, for example, he never really demolished Perez on a consistent basis on a Sunday. So I would have to go with Ricciardo unless Ocon really ups his game. I would be surprised though. I just don't think he has that race pace to match Ricciardo. But the potential for fireworks are definitely there between those two. So that's part one done. Part two, I shall talk about the other 5 teams tomorrow. For now, goodbye.